Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we're gonna be continuing the narration for the main story of Arknights with the final episode in Act 1 titled Roaring Fire. Also, just a side note, I cannot be the only one who keeps misreading this, at least the flare part as flame, which is kind of the obvious mistake to make subconsciously, but can't be the only one. But yeah, before we get into this episode, let's do the usual of on the previous episode. On the previous part, we have faced off with the man, the legend, the patriot, the aegis of the infected himself, Mr. Buldrocasti, and oh boy, that guy is definitely deserving of all the things that have been said about him. Like I said, like I either said or alluded, I can't fully remember the previous part, that was probably the first mission in the game where I had to look something up just to clean up that whole encounter, cause that guy, if you don't face him properly, oh boy, he just keeps on walking, like he said, I advance. But we began on the streets of Chernobog with the final preparations to face the final obstacle in our path to advance to the central tower, the control structure of the city, and to stop it from its advance onto Lungmen. And in doing so, we had to find a way to disrupt the communications that Reunion is using, because they are jamming the normal frequency waves. But Rhode Island had to find a roundabout method to have their own communications running, plus they had to disable the on-ground communications that Reunion was using, in the form of the titularly very aptly named runners. And to do so, we had to use Rosmontis' powers of expanding her consciousness across the city. Amia was using her own powers to be like an anchor for Rosmontis to not go mentally berserk and kill everybody in the vicinity. And at the beginning it started off very well, and then Rosmontis had a little episode and we do manage to calm her down. And in doing so, we discovered that Rosmontis has apparently subconsciously accepted the Doctor, because the Doctor does, even though they do get warned not to look directly at Rosmontis while that is going on, because her art could literally wreck them apart, either both mentally or physically, or just mentally. I honestly can't remember what the actual wording was on that one, but yeah, the Doctor does at the end look at them, doesn't get really affected, but it does put something into perspective of either Rosmontis has subconsciously accepted the Doctor already, which could be the case, considering they did have a bit of a contact before, in which was in the pretty much the crematorium of Rhode Island prior to the mission, or the fact that Amia was there, and considering both Amia and Rosmontis have mental powers, maybe a slight little influence from Amia that Rosmontis is detecting as well, on top of everything else, where she does not perceive the Doctor as a threat, but as a person that needs to be protected. But speculations aside, Rosmontis calms down, tracks down all of the necessary targets, and mission-wise at least, we proceed to go through a handful of battles across the city, disabling the communication network of Reunion, and at the end facing the final stronghold with Reunion's, or rather the Patriots' shield guards, which are holed down in one of the buildings. Rosmontis proceeds to aptly make her title known as an annihilation specialist, and pretty much annihilates a building in which they were holding out, plus tries to face off against the shield guards of Patriot, which she gets aptly prevented by the man himself, as Patriot walks onto the scene and blocks Rosmontis' attacks, which is that is already telling you how much of a beefy personality that person is. This guy tiles that were able to slice buildings apart. Yep, that is a beefy person, all right. But the whole encounter proceeds. The team has a direct confrontation, verbal, before the mission, the gameplay begins. We get to pretty much get a more clearer picture of him as a person during that whole spiel. In the form of, number one, he is not resentful towards Rhode Island. He's simply there to stop Reunion itself from falling apart, to stop Rhode Island from breaking Reunion apart, from stopping, after he stops Rhode Island, stopping Tallulah herself from breaking Reunion apart, and much, much more. As we then proceed into the battle, as I've shown you the battle, obviously it looks very easy when you look at a clear run, but oh boy, like I said earlier, that battle took a toll. Took a toll on me back then. Oh Jesus, took a while to figure out how to properly set it up. But like I showed in the video, that setup is roughly the same I used, but it was with way lesser leveled up characters, plus a bunch of them were 4 and 5 stars, plus I think originally to beat Patriot I borrowed someone's Silver Ash for a specific kind of tactic. The tactic is called Swing. But yeah, we finished the battle, have a final couple of words with the big guy, in which also Amia has flashes of his past go through her head, as she obviously can feel the consciousness of other people and their hearts. She, through Amia, we see the past of Patriot. We see him talking to his wife after his son was born, which already shows us from just one single line in there that Patriot, despite being a Wendigo, was not conducting the Wendigo traditions, considering this, people might know what Wendigos are, but if you don't know what Wendigos are, just look it up. It's yeah, it's a thing. But yeah, cannibalism is a thing there. But yeah, I'm actually wondering how what's the word I'm looking for here? How strongly they mean it by devouring the flesh of your loved ones, so that they can keep living on through you, or if they just mean like symbolically a piece of their flesh, considering it's just a ritual at the end of the day. But he does reject the Wendigo traditions, as we see from that. We see already back then he had some I don't know what the concrete word here to use would be, but reservations, maybe, towards some stuff. We then see a scene with him talking with his son, and I have to speculate on that scene, because that scene feels like one of those typically written scenes of, this is the argument he has with a family member before the family member goes out and then pretty much dies, which does kind of feel like it, that moment that we see where his son is pretty much in an argument with Bulldor Casti, is the moment before his son goes to that protest and well, gets killed by the Ursus army, which at the end of the day is the trigger which makes Bulldor Casti leave Ursus together with his guerrillas and go into the tundra. We then proceed to see another scene with him and a young Yelena, aka Frostno as she would later be called. This scene probably taking part either a couple of weeks or a month or two after the rescue in the mine, as they are talking to each other. And we have a little, oh god, I love that moment where we have a moment where he just hugs Yelena out of nowhere, and she describes that she feels something wet trickling down on her shoulders as he is hugging her. Basically, yeah, he had a moment there where he just broke down and started just shedding tears, which is those moments just kill me in this story. But yeah, we have all of those. He has some parting words for Rhode Island, gives Rhode Island the key, titular key, because you need a control mechanism, to stop the city. And as he is literally about to pass away, he has a moment where he has visions of his wife and son and everything else as he fades into the light, but suddenly realizes, wait, this is not what is happening here. This is a lie. This is a hallucination, and wakes suddenly up. He is very pissed because he suddenly realizes that Amia is using the same kind of powers that are usually in the royal line for the castle, as she wields the same power as the previous regent, Theresa, being that she is apparently her successor, aka the Lord of Fiends. Why? How? Not even same species? We don't know. The only thing I keep saying throughout these is that Amia in her files is considered on top of being a bunny, is considered a chimera. What will that tell us? What will happen? What will happen with that? No idea. You just have to wait and see. But he laps out, continues his advance, carries his pretty much ravaged and almost dead body by originium infection towards Amia to literally squish her skull in, but stops at the last moment because he dies. Literally in that final advancement, as Amia faces him down, fully prepared, he dies. Just like that. Arms stretched out towards her, and nothing. Hammering away the fact that not a single time in his life has this man actually walked back, always marching forward, never going back. And then, again, if you want an even more detailed perspective on this guy as a person and everything else, why he did the stuff he did, you just literally have to reread almost every single sentence that was said during those whole conversations. Like, that is a storytelling level there that literally presents you everything you want to know about this guy in one fell swoop, both by the characters in the story and by the character himself. They pretty much tell you everything you want to know about him. But yeah, he perishes one last time to defy the fate that he was supposed to suffer from, which is an old prophecy of him, of the last Wendigo dying to the hands of the Lord of the Fiends. But technically speaking, he didn't die to her hands, nor to her powers. He just died, defying fate to the final moments. We then proceed to see the team split into two teams, mainly Amia, Rosmontes, and the Shield Guards, essentially, advancing towards the central tower, while Kal'tsit and the Doctor are gonna take another portion of the team and are gonna go through an underground section and try to reach the sarcophagus. That very team, Kal'tsit and the Doctor, suddenly on their way underground run into W, who is still alive and around and kicking. And during that whole conversation between the three of them, W just keeps staring at the doctor. The whole spiel of, I do not know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with this person. Am I gonna kill him now? Am I not gonna kill him? Is this the same person as before? Am I gonna blame this new person now for the death of someone I cherished and treasured? What to do? But it's very tense, and I love the fact that she puts that the doctor is only third in line to be killed by her. Like, great, thank you. Only third? Really? I love that. But we have a little exchange between her and Kal'tsit. Kal'tsit summoning her monster. Monster pretty much just yoinking W and giving her a lift towards the top of the tower. I love it. This is one of those moments where I cannot wait to see them actually animated in the show, which will sadly not happen in the first season of the anime, but we can hope that it's gonna be greenlit for another season, or already has been. Who the fuck knows? But this pretty much concludes that section, and then we have a special extra epilogue at the end. An epilogue that tells two separate stories. One taking place in the past, where we see a confrontation between Wei and Wu, who is holding on to Shen, a tiny little Shen, while on the other end we see the bitch face Cachet, yep, holding Tallulah as he just kidnapped her and is running back to Ursus with her to make her his successor, as that is his plan, apparently. They have a confrontation, and it's pretty much a confrontation of, if any of them pulls the trigger, it will just cause a war. Pretty much anything that would have happened in that scene would have caused an international incident and war. So if anybody keeps wondering, why didn't you just fucking kill that bitch? Well, how about the entirety of two nations would be pretty much slaughtering each other from that point onward, like literal slaughter. Sadly, they couldn't do shit, and they had to let the guy go away. And then we get a scene. I cannot be the only one. I cannot be the only one when I see the what's his fucking face? Confessioner appear on screen, that I just want to punch him for some reason. When that lanky asshole appears, I just have this urge to punch something, and I hope I'm not the only one here. But yeah, we see the Confessioner and wait, is it Confessioner or is it something else? I think it's something very, very simple. Confessarius, that's the thing. Confessarius talking to his regent, the regent being Theresis. Theresis' brother, in fact. And they have a nice little chat there, as something is brewing in the background. And we have a look-see at something that appears to be some kind of pod with a liquid inside, and apparently a person in there. And by the little glimpse we see there, it looks like it's Theresa. But is it Theresa? Is it a clone? Is it something completely different? Eh? Eh? Everybody, you'll have to wait for that. I'll tell you straight up now one thing. The probably chapter 10 will be going into that story. So just like me, even though I'm probably gonna sit down and read that over the weekend, you'll have to wait if you're following along the story through this channel. But yeah, enough of the recap. This has already been a long one, considering how much goddamn story was crammed there at the end. Should have maybe said it at the beginning, but if someone looks at the comment section, I'll leave a timestamp to jump into this portion here. So, Chapter 8, Episode 8. Oh boy. This is a thing that the first time I was reading through it, I was a bit, especially because it was a couple of months in between 7 and 8, I was like, Did I just forget something, or did I skip something? What happened at the previous end? Because the way this one starts is gonna be very interesting. Believe me that. Because, as you can undoubtedly see, there are two lines here. Two things are playing out. Even the background tells you as much as there is a cityscape below and one at the top, plus a tundra on the left. Something is happening at both ends here. So, shall we get into this whole thing? Now, because I couldn't remember which direction these were unlocking, because it was going top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom the entire time. I had to look up this thing on the wiki, so I'm hoping that the way this is written out on the wiki is the actual way this has been unlocking. Because I only do remember that R1 was the first one unlocking and M1 was the second one unlocking. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna be following this in the proper order. But yeah, for today's first episode, we will cover the story of R8-1 towards R8-3. 2 is not a story stage, so that will be a quick one. And we will cover M1-1, M8-1, and -2. So, we're gonna have a beefy start into this. So shall we begin? Let me first check the volume very quickly if it's alright, because the stages are gonna be very quiet as per usual. So, let's begin. Stage R8-1. Yesterday, the chaff cracked. In the remote tundra, patrol squads dressed in black beetle-like uniforms comb through remote villages to hunt down the infected. Let's begin with the before story. So, you're finally here. Hyushi. The storm hasn't broken for days. The whole valley is snowed over. The raspberry bushes still haven't budded. It's like spring will never come. We are trapped here, starving, dressed thin, and every silent day we pass waiting for the snow to melt drives us out of our minds. You know, there's something about it all I find odd. We've never once had a smooth time of it. Any better circumstances and they'd go to shit fast the moment I get involved. Maybe it really is like the Illuminates say, I'm a bad omen. Nothing good comes out of being around me. Reminds me of something from a hell of a long time ago. I've been thinking how I need to share my thoughts with you in order to find peace. December 14th. Third year without the Black Snake. A small Ursus hamlet. Tallulah, get back here. You can't let them see you like that, for heaven's sake. Don't worry, I'm coming in now. Why won't you just take those clothes off? I've said it over and over, they'll bring those damn bugs around. Those big black poisonous bugs, one bite and a whole field goes barren. I always wear my normal clothes, don't I? I've only been wearing these lately because I had to be outside. You remember the gentleman who gave me these clothes, don't you? The handsome one. He wouldn't recognize me in anything else. I believe destiny will send him to me again. When that time comes, you and your husband can both live happily ever after. Tallulah, a bald-faced liar. That's what you are. What about everything you said before then? Oh, what was it I said before? I've forgotten. It wasn't the same, was it? You said your father gave you those clothes as a birthday gift. You said he was robbed blind by some ring-headed foreigner, and you ran off crying, those clothes soaked in his blood. You're all over the place. The time before that was a different story too. So I can't keep it straight. Your memory is just wonderful. Don't suck up to me. Always talking complete nonsense. I've got the foot in the grave, but look at you. Running an old coot like me in the circles. Don't you feel even a bit of a shame? I'm sorry, that's wrong of me, really. Now, sit down, don't bother with your clothes. Drive me up the wall. Chop chop, polish off that lunch already. You told me you'd be back by noon, and the sun is almost down. I left the soup on for you, but it's nearly boiled dry now. You may as well be having your supper at this rate. Oh dear Majesty, how could our little girl turn out this way? Get down, you. The old man still wants you for something. Oh, that miserable drunk. Where's he run off now? You'll have to find him yourself. Alright, I get it. You grew up so well, but not a single true word comes out of your mouth. Just like all those sweet-talking youngsters in the city. I nearly got swindled once when I was younger. There's nothing good about them. Enough. I've heard this 100 times. Talking back? Right. Here. Oh, come on, take your plate now and eat your bread. Snappy snap. Don't rush like that, you'll choke. You were all soaked in blood the day you showed up, though. I still get chills thinking about it, Tallulah. Even if you weren't one of those good kids, the old man would have split your head open with a hatchet right then and there. Who can even tell if someone else is good or bad at a single glance? That day you ran here, it was an evening dark as dark was, with all beasts crawling outside, burden beasts and meat beasts. They never stopped howling. You really made me uneasy. And then the thing you were carrying. What a big knife it was. I'd never seen one so big all my years. That was a sword. A sword, not a knife. And don't take it to clear out mountain paths again. That's not what it's for. And by the way, didn't we agree never to speak of that again? I'm getting upset. Oops, my big mouth. Oh, Emperor above, I won't say a word more, not a single word out of it again. Oh, your Majesty, forgive an old blabbermouth for her careless slip. That's enough. Surely the Emperor's in no place to care. He's living up just fine in his grand old city, and us? We can't even find potatoes to eat next week. He couldn't do anything for us even if he wanted to. For that matter, I'm wondering if you ever know who the Emperor is now. How rude. The soup. Are we out of salt? Yes, we ran out of a while ago. The salt jar went empty last night. You're just as wasteful as that old man. Eating all your salt. You'll pickle yourself to death. Pickle yourself to death, she's great. And Lord knows what in the world you're up to when you leave for days at a time. You come back with nothing, no money, not even nothing to eat. A girl driving this house to ruin. I get it, I'm changing it out now. So how healthy you are, you ought to be working. Don't bother, I had a chat with Alina just a minute ago. She'll bring us some salt. Now look at you. Alina is a lot more reliable than you. She likes her studying, she gets hands-on with her work, and you still can't even sew your own clothes. To each their own. Eh? What do you mean? Everyone has their own ambitions. So what ambitions have you got? Ought to find someone good, a strong lad and lass. If we leave you to do the work, Muzzle'll be rotting on the ground before long. I haven't slacked once on the yearly farm work. You've only been here how many years? Tallulah never falls behind on her work. Please stop scolding her. Alina, you need to help me talk some sense into her, or else she'll keep going on like this and there is not much wrong with that. Oh, at least you're here. You're the only one who knows how to quiet her down. So you're all grown up, are you? Think you're a noble just because you wrapped yourself in some uniform you got from Lord knows where? Small as you are, you put on airs anyway. Where'd you learn that? I have work to do. You two eat up. If you're hungry, Alina. Tallulah, don't eat too much. Leave some for Alina. Alright, alright. I'll be fine, ma'am. Thank you. Tallulah, I've brought some salt over. The salt merchant will be here next week, so remember to buy some then. Thank you so much, Alina. Without you, she'd be going on for another 20 minutes. I can hear you! Where'd you go this time? Nowhere, just out for a walk to feel the wind. Right, the landscape painting you wanted. Ah, you actually remembered. Thank you a lot, Tallulah. This brush type, this isn't by the local painters. The old painter in Schmear only knows hard strokes. I can't imagine him using a feather brush. The soft tips, this was a night ice plumage from before it molted. Tallulah, you went to the city. Can't hide anything from you. Why hide things from me? I'm not a gendarmerie or a tax collector. You don't need to know about any of it. It's dangerous. It's danger all around there. And you're in the thick of it then? The deer facing her seemed almost supernatural. The white-haired Draco felt deep down that if you didn't want Alina to know what was happening, your best option was not to let those things happen at all. I'm just saying, Alina, you don't need to worry about... Trouble! There's trouble! What's all the racket about? Storming in without even knocking, I don't know what'll do if the bolt's broken. The infected patrol unit! Your old man brought this rabble on us. What? Tallulah, where are you going? Oh, the knife. Alina, don't let her wave that thing around. Let me repeat myself, old boy. If you just break your leg and come in all the same, I could just break your leg and come in all the same. You've already come searching before. What are you here for now? We can't even afford your taxes anymore. What more do you want to bring out of us? This is a routine inspection. We don't care how you try to sweeten the plot this time. We're mandated to inspect every 2 years. If you don't carry this out, then we're all in for the whip. But if you just consent... We can't give anything anymore. We've got nothing to give. No money, no jewelry, not even any more food. The hell are you going on for? This is a routine inspection, out of the way. Sir, officer, sir, we've got nothing left to give, honest to heaven. If you need to take something with you, just take me, for God's sake. I said, out of the way. My leg. What are you doing? Some girl from somewhere. Hey, your clothes there. From. No farmer could afford to wear those. I'm asking, what are you doing? Huh? Not a step closer. What do you think you're doing? Have you seen your eyes? Huh, don't you look terrifying? Do I see a death wish? Alright, and now for the after scene. I didn't cut off your hands. Pick yourself up. Don't you dare think this is over. I'll cut off your tongue right here then. And he runs away. Off he goes. Are you okay? What have you done? Oh god, Tallulah, look at what you've done. Tallulah, we have to transport the village in 2 days. Just look at what you've... You fought a patrol, man. There'll be here to pay now. There'll be hell to pay now. Letting him beat you was even less of an idea. It's getting late and he's on the run. If I kill him now, we'll be long gone by the time the others find his remains. But that wouldn't solve any of our problems. Once the patrol unit regroups, they'd still come looking for us. They might well be out to get revenge on us. And yet you did it. Now what do we do? Calm down. They're looking for infected. They still don't know. Don't know what? They don't know what I'm about to do. Hey, Tallulah. It's okay. Come on, I'll walk you back. Your leg there, it will need special attention to heal. Ah, so today's the day you start helping me walk. Always thought I was still in good shape myself. Would have guessed I could not outrun it. Tallulah, there's something I need to tell you. What is it? Ah, good question. Sorry, I don't remember. Look at me now. Look at my memory. That's some impressive forgetfulness, alright. Alright, everybody following along? Alright, and now for something more acquainted with. Stage M8-1. Today, Sanguine overflows. And yes, it is supposed to say overflows. There is an F missing there, and they've never corrected that. But says here, 10 hours, 32 minutes, 9 seconds. The war continues, but the situation has changed. Law, original law had behind it, in synonymous form with vengeance, the same original need, the need for violence. City-states made pledges to their people and used sumptuous lives and stable surroundings to appease them. To let their lifespan serve one man-made purpose, to tame their innate will to subjugate, to teach them to be at ease, to lead them to be weak. Our Majesty is sage, perceptive. A great many city-states will treat strength as a crime, will take deficient courage as a virtue, will regard fear of death as progress. Our Majesty will tear their last semblances from them, make them reflect, make them search themselves. We as a human race have always had a kind of thirst flowing through our blood vessels, a thirst to lose our own life force by our own actions. Fairness is not by nature. Fairness is dependent on having the wisdom to force, the force of will to create it. Our Majesty intends to recover all they need, all this the cities took away, and give it back to them. New purpose will be declared. Our Majesty will rebuild their thought worn flat by daily life and boredom, and rouse the sanguine courage within them bound by deadened ethics for too long. Violence runs our bodies through and through. If we don't allow it to germinate within ourselves, we will become resentful, insignificant and numb, and thus will incur our own destruction. Those who fear habitually are despicable. If one wants to be alive, they ought to be immersed in the heart of violence, see clearly how so much of ethics is a sham, understand the barren of our present world. Only violence is real, able to be felt. Not punishment, not rule, not the weights of value and the decorum of appeasement. We will use our fists and weapons to tell them that we are alive and that we ought to be alive. The right to life is reserved for the living. I do not blame Our Majesty the Emperor for the punishment handed down on me. I showed contempt, ignorant of the times, for how he spoke all on his benevolent mind to the masses, for he was loath for his people to all too quickly suffer the pain of violent change. Even so, I cannot cease to tell the candid truth. I must constantly and continually praise Our Majesty's most profound insight. I can only shout my honesty. I cannot be silent. The reality is, we do not want whatever justice, nor do we expect peace. Only the short-sighted rushing about their own interests can wallow in peace. What we want is to use the violence that surges in our veins, the nature of us aroused by the dawn of our own civilization, the origin of our dauntless struggle and victory. We want to make use of violence. Dress it up any way to make our needs seem sensible, but that is irrelevant. Should we need, we should seek directly. Leave the dressing up to the historians and the champions of morals. They only need justification, while our survival is more justified than any theory. We want to injure people, defeat people, destroy people, and if Ursus reckons this disaster, then we should bring disaster to others, to people beyond Ursus. If they do not stand strong, they should be eliminated. Some are fitter to survive than others, and fitter to succeed. Weakness is evil, strength is sublime. Our laws should be founded on the needs of the city's soundest. Our country should not serve the maggots, let alone nurture the innumerous ill. May those I despise, those narrow-minded, seeking subjects, be tried and found forever in the lack of blood. May Our Majesty lead Ursus to eternal prosperity. The last sermon of a heretical sovereign preacher as he walked the gallows, sentenced by the Emperor of Ursus to hang. Chernobog Core City, Central District. Spies. Ursus spies. They're right here. Tell everyone they're right here. Kill them. Kill them. Hang them above the connecting floor. Crush them against the top of Lungmen. Let's retreat, Rosmontes. They've occupied the entire commercial plaza. This entire block's been sealed off by them now. Rosmontes. Let me do this. If we take up the version, we'll be attacked by reunions somewhere else. Sarkas. Hey you, eyes on that caster. Watch her. Don't let her try anything. Kill them all already, quick! Right, kill him. Rosmonte speaking in Colombian Victorian. You want to kill me? You're all blind to it. You've all got Ursus chains up your necks. Rosmontes, this isn't worth it. They've pretty much lost their minds. Let's move out of their... Find a different breach point. Bowguns up! Blow it off! Blow her head off! You're like the bunny who was just here. Just like her. Amia didn't go this way because she didn't want to do things like I do. The hell are you staring like that for? You're an infected. You're an infected. Why are you all staring at me like that? Collaborators? Trying to make it home? Like hell. Like bleeding hell. Ursus can't defeat us. We've won. Won. Fire. Fire at her. Fire at her. No point. No point. I don't want you to hurt me, so there's nothing you can do. What the hell? What the hell? Keep firing. Keep firing. Blow the whole place out. Is that a wall? What kind of arts? What the hell kind of... The bolts are breaking against it? They're breaking? Stop attacking those wall things. It's useless. Just looking at them tells you they won't budge. Call the casters in. The hell do you know? We're attacking her face on. But before the arrows can reach her, and before the shrapnel can strike her face, they hit something. Some kind of invisible wall or something, whatever the hell. They just shatter. They can't get in. Stupid goddamn caster. We'll see how long you can hold out. How much have you even got? You can't keep this up for long. We'll see how long you hold out. Why? Why can't you just hit her? She's not doing a damn thing. The hell are you ballistas, huh? The hell are your empowered crossbows? Bombard her, blow her to Kingdom Come, blow her to smithereens, blow her all the hell to goddamn Ursus, and then make her tonight stew. This is the Rosmonte squad, Amia. We're through to you. Talk her down. You need to talk her down. Rosmontes, listen to the comms. All you uniforms. All your uniforms will hang you dry. You on the power lines. Left the rotten feathers peck you apart. We'll let you know what you get for looking down on us. Looking down on us, beating us, giving us those looks. We'll kill you all. We'll throw you all into the engine to watch the mincemeat come out. What the hell are you doing? What are you prancing out about for? Don't expose your squad's position. Don't waste your breath, goddamn devil, hard-horned brute. What makes you think you can order me? You think you're Tallulah? You think you're that undying goddamn beast? Whoopsie, he's already done for. Bang! You'll all be done for. Us Ursus infected will kill you. Kill the lot of you. You're all... And the Sarkis kicks the infected straight out of the window. The infected howls, or perhaps it's more of a laugh, as he falls down from the 7th floor to the ground and is immediately obliterated by the ballistas. Do it. Bring out the big guns. Kill him dead.
Amia, can you hear me? We're taking the route we agreed out.
Rosmontes.
What are the guerrillas' current movements?
By our recon operators' reports, the already assembled guerrillas are currently in Central Main Street, openly attacking other reunion guards. There's also a few small guerrilla squads opting to retreat instead, and they are scattering across every part of the city.
I see. The guerrillas still have other obligations. But our two teams are already too occupied to account for the situation anywhere else in the core city. The longer it takes to break through the blockade, the less time we'll have left. If the other anti-guerrilla infected are kept pinned down by the guerrillas, we'll be able to reach the command tower much faster. We can't waste this opportunity. I leave controlling the overall situation to Radian and Mantra's judgment. As for controlling the battlefield, I and Rosmontes both need more space to think.
But, Rosmontes...
After we rule out any ambush interference, we're still guaranteed other roundabout routes, but Rosmontes, I think, more or less can only choose to eliminate obstacles in front of her. More or less. That's how she's already done things.
Oh. Dr. Kal'tsit was on the mark. We're in one heck of a mess. Reunion has already fallen apart, seeing as their infighting is killing them faster than the guerrilla attacks are. They usually have enough friction on their own, but then Patriot died, and that news blew up, and now everything's gone haywire. With all the devastation the whole way here, I'm hard-pressed to say that they're that united anymore.
Notify the other team members to assemble. Have the casters bring the drones back in. We're going to converge with Rosmontes. Amia. Everything's dealt with here now.
Sorry, Amia, there had to be a better way we could have done this.
It's how I wanted to do it. Negotiations falling through isn't a problem. The way they are, it's impossible to communicate. And they're doing bad things. If I let them alone, they just do even more bad things.
An entire building? You took an entire building?
Did I go too far?
No, I just never been on a mission with you before. Seeing it for myself is a Shocker. You really are the ace up Rhode Island sleeve, our strongest war machine.
Hmm.
Amia, did I say something wrong?
Hmm.
The evening before the core city operation team's departure from the ship.
I won't allow it. Dr. Kal'tsit, this time I'm going to have to do it this way.
We've gone over the situation countless times before, Amia. Your originium arts expand your physical strength. This goes even as far as the psychological activity your metabolism requires. Your life is passing. You're not a machine, nor a ship's cannon. You cannot have your past change, nor can you be further processed.
I know.
No, maybe you still don't know. There be another memory from far too long ago. I'm not certain how much pressure it would bring about on your body. Every simulation's result is leagues from anything ideal. I can rule out this choice.
Then how about this, Dr. Kal'tsit? Let me put it this way. This time I need to do things this way. I'll be taking off one more ring.
Amia, we are going over a form of violence. You have said as much to me. If you didn't want me to stop you here and now, then you wouldn't have asked me to swear it to you. The chairman and I cast these rings together. It was so that no one who came after would easily walk that path again.
I'm using them, Dr. Kal'tsit. I won't argue for weapons, and I would never say that any kind is better for its ability to kill faster. However, what Miss Theresa left to me was not the same thing at all. Since the very beginning, perhaps they were never designed as weapons. They shouldn't be used to kill anyone. They never should. When they're used, what I think of is who I should save. This is the conclusion I've come to, after years of coexisting with them.
Trusting a kind of weapon is not in any way a wise act. If you wish to use them as a surgical tool and not as a lethal weapon, then you must be in control of their blade. A blade is a blade to both the enemy and me. No matter how you use it, its characteristics will not change. Amia, they will incise you.
Dr. Kal'tsit, I'm not afraid. Wounds can heal.
But they can leave behind scars. Scars that nobody can bear to look at.
But I won't give up. Originium has already changed my body in ways you know. Any further wounds, they'd be 1 or 2 wounds and nothing more. I'm not a weapon.
Do you need me to bring up another heartful example?
What case?
Who can prove that you and I are not kind of weapon? Who can come to define whether or not we are a kind of weapon? Can weapons think? Are weapons that can think all the more fearsome? Are weapons with self-awareness automatically no longer a kind of weapon? No, Amia, I disagree. Even if I know, you've already grown up. I can't stop you. Your decisions are yours to make.
Yes, operator, you've misspoken. Have you ever seen such a cute weapon before? No, that's no, that I'm saying Amia is cuter. Sorry, I can't think of another way to put it. We're people with a full complement of emotions. After this is over, find the chance to apologize to her, okay? Don't, Amia. It's okay. Let's go together. Wait, Rasmatis, I think I might fall here. I'm going to hold on tight to you. I can't let those guys, these infected. I can't...
Why is this breaking my mind right now?
I can't let those guys, those infected, I can't let them hurt you. A little slower, let's go a little slower, okay?
Maybe I shouldn't have said it like that, but... Central District. Can you see that, Kal'tsit?
No, no, come near.
I see it. Nobody with even normal eyesight could ignore this sort of phenomenon. Do you still remember the special infected you came across back in Moomin? The infected reunion boy who could induce mutation within other infected's organs.
I remember.
Oh,
Mephisto's heard. Even the devils.
don't forward any more inside.
What are you? We need to lay out our defenses forward. The rebels have almost fought their way here. God damn it, Mephisto, what are you thinking? If we detour, they wouldn't attack us.
Nothing but pain.
Ooh, wait a moment, what are you doing?
Pain.
Let go of me, let go!
All units, we're moving back. Keep cover. We'll change entrance phase after this. After that, something bad's happened already.
So yeah, if it wasn't clear after these two parts, we will be experiencing the present and the past playing out until we reach a melting point later in the story. Past will be Tallulah's story, present will be the current going-ons throughout the mission in Chernobog. But let's continue on stage R8-2, titled Innocent Flesh and Blood. Once more, the stage doesn't have a story, therefore I'm just gonna read the description of the stage, saying, in the tundras of Ursus, every living creature is under suspicion. They may be murderers, thugs, spies, or simply innocents. And just as a by-the-by, usually the training missions would teach you about certain things in the environment, or how to use certain deployables, or something like that. The training mission for this stage is kind of a different kind of thing, where you are not utilizing the terrain, but they are teaching you about escort missions and how NPCs behave who you need to protect from advancing forces. Because in the past, Tallulah was, as was stated already in the story, pretty much protecting civilian lives. That was what Reunion stood for in the past, protecting infected and innocent lives, just like Rhode Island is doing it these days. So yeah, a bit of a more unique mechanic in which you have to deal with that. Also, I don't think it's this, or it is actually this stage, but we'll wait for that. Tallulah will be present for a lot of these stages up here, not as an enemy NPC, but as a friendly NPC that you need to let and do her own thing until she leaves the stage, pretty much. But yeah, anyway, stage R8-3. Outstalk easily alight. Righteous anger from witnessing such brutality is justified. Ursus's manglers are well trained, and their fangs do not seize just because of their victims' emotions. So, let's begin with the before part. And then before the stage, I'm gonna read the description of a certain unit. She. From where I left off, I ran for a very long time, ran into a small village. I didn't think too much about it at the time. I only wanted to find somewhere to hide. I didn't think I'd actually find somewhere to stay. And I think that all Coop thought of me as a daughter, since their own sons and daughters had probably long since lost their lives to Ursus's countless wars. They even kept my secret for me. I'm sure I could have spent a lifetime repaying their kindness.
I regret that I never did. January 13th.
During a previous routine inspection, one of our people was assaulted. Every household must now submit to a search both for infected and the attacker. Should we find them, we will execute them on the spot, and the household that harbored them will be punished accordingly. If you don't want a hard labor sentence, turn them in. No one will come to harm if you do your civic duty, and the offenders and infected will meet their proper end. Now we'll start from the first household.
It looks like the day came after all. There's no chance I'll make it through this one.
Don't go out there, Tallulah.
Hide behind the shed. They won't look there. We'll tell them you were scared of what was coming and ran away. No one would blame you for it. But they might hurt you for it. I owe you better than that. I've left you some gold coins from Victoria. Spend them sparingly, and they'll have you warm and well fed for the rest of your lives.
Tallulah, Tallulah, where are you going? My Tallulah, you can't go to them. Those black-hearted patrolling bugs eat people alive.
And I can't just stand by and let them torture the man and woman of this village. I have to see this through. I'll lure them away, give them a wake-up call, let them know what they've wrought. I know what's right. I'm not letting them punish these people. I'm not letting them murder anyone else. I still remember how the boy next door was beaten to death for chucking a stone. I'll never forget.
Tallulah, Tallulah, you can't. That's enough. Who's at the door? Is it the patrolman? Go away.
Ma'am, it's me.
Alina, come in, come in. What's wrong? What happened? Is there news?
Someone told.
What? Told what?
The patrol unit knows there's an infected in our village.
Oh, this can't be...
I don't know who it was, but we all know what happens to those who harbor infected. Ma'am, my father passed early and you took such good care of my mother and your husband both. You're like grandparents to me. And at this point I can't really hide anything. Wait. Miss, where did the mister go?
Bloody old fart, what are you doing here?
I committed a crime.
A confession. Ah, yeah, I remember. An old geezer got in our guy's way. Judging by your limp, you were one of the thugs who attacked him.
Yep.
Not that you look worth the trouble. Oh, take a bloody hike. No point in dirtying our hands over a miserable little wrench.
Hold it. Sir, look at my skin here. What's that look like to you?
Infected. You're the infected.
Are you serious?
I realized the moment I helped you change clothes.
Tallulah, we've known you were infected for a long time now. How?
The old man worked the mines and came back after he caught a ripathy himself. You've seen how he never takes off that jacket of his. He's going to go in your place, Tallulah.
No. But how could he have been...
You can't trust the people here like that. The villagers will say whatever they need to for money and to save their own skins. For the last 2 years, Tallulah, we've been truly happy to have you. You're a good girl, a good girl. We don't have long left to live, but Tallulah, even if you're ill, you'll still got years yet. You need to live, Tallulah. That's what's right. Tallulah, don't go. For heaven's sake, don't go.
Take me. Take me then, officer. Look at my skin. I'm the bloody diseased one.
If you don't believe me, then take a look at this.
A knife. Put that down. You can't touch us, old man.
No, officer. Watch my arts.
The elderly man slices open his own wrist, but no red flows onto the snow. It is instead as mist scattered into the air. Look, officer, I am an infected, tried and true. I believe you. Thank you for your cooperation, infected. Tallulah.
Tallulah, come back, don't! Is that... fire? What? Why is the house on... Tallulah, did you... Don't, Tallulah, they'll destroy the whole village.
Tallulah mega pissed. But yeah, for the coming couple of the stages here on top, there will be wrong button. There will be a special unit on the field, not hostile, considering, technically speaking, for the most part, she's the only one there from the good side, let's call it. We have Tallulah, the fighter. Says here, the infected warrior Tallulah. She will never look back. And like it says here, she did not deduct life points if she crosses the gate, like enemy units do. She is simply on the field doing her thing, beating enemy units on top of you deploying units. But yeah, well, let's continue with the after section. Up, screams on fire, yep.
Tallulah, you... Is that fire you're doing? You're the one who set them alight. Alina, I'm sorry. This will surely mean even worse to come for the village, but I just couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand this sort of... Alina?
Facing her, Tallulah was taken aback. Alina met her gaze with an expression she'd never seen her wear before.
There's a fire in your eyes. I knew from the moment you came to this village, you'd never be willing to just stay here. You came from somewhere. You came from... Where you came from, you'll go back to. This village can't hold you.
I won't go back. Don't look at me like that.
But within your eyes, truly there is a fire. You wanted to set something alight, burn it away. You thought none of this was how it should be. You bore it until you could bear it no more. It shouldn't have been now, Tallulah. Not now. The villagers are innocent. Your one flare of anger only served to hurt them.
What happened? Oh, God, what the hell is going on? Who did this?
Tallulah, run now, run, and don't look back. Don't ever come back. Blessings, your majesty, bless this girl like my daughter. Bless her to live on, bless her so she can live on. Tallulah, we need to go. No, those hideous patrolmen. We're infected, but none of the villagers are. What did you say? I'm an infected too, Tallulah. I'm infected too. This is where we'd planned to move. We had everything ready, but... The old man was... We can't let them do this again. We can't let them. He saved you, saved me, saved the whole village. You threw his whole plan into disarray. What do you even mean? The villagers were the ones who... Wait, you mean the one who turned him in was... It was his idea. That way the patrol wouldn't come again, and hopefully that would have been that. No matter how much strength you have, you can't resist a patrol unit. I can. And then what? What if the gendarmerie came? What if the city's garrisons and all the noble soldiers came?
We just don't have the firepower. Once we've accumulated enough strength. Because it's not right. It's not right. We can't just look on like this. All these wicked things right before our eyes, but we turn away just to save ourselves. That's not right. That's selfish, heartless even. If righteousness can only be upheld by greater and greater violence, how can it even be considered righteous?
I can't answer these questions of yours, Tallulah. You've studied more than I have, that I know. But someone died today in the village, and no more out to die. You're so clever, you can understand that. Now, go, Tallulah.
I'll be back.
Tell yourself that, Tallulah. Tell yourself that.
Oh boy. Well, she had a peachy past, as we've already known a bit of it. But yeah, let's finish off today's session with the story for stage M8-2, titled Silence, Born of Excessive Speech. Kal'tsit has never demonstrated impatience when explaining a story to others. She's either very good at controlling herself, or she actually enjoys it. Why not both? Central District. A short while before. How are you certain Amia's group will reach the command tower without crossing one of Tallulah's elite squads?
This is the problem with conspirators. Take a warlord or a tyrant of a devious king. Their strongholds are always easy to defend, hard to attack. They know their own deeds will invite furious retribution without fail. They'll use superior strength and advanced armaments to deploy unyielding defense. Yet, seeing as Tallulah's despotic behavior is confirmed to be some kind of act, she would not do things this way.
What makes you so confident?
Experience, theory, phenomena. I have no confidence. I can only derive the facts. Tallulah is maintaining her own image. She needs to have the normal infected respect her, have the Sarkis mercenaries obey her, have the guerrillas trust her, have the zealots worship her. She needs to have the distance between her and the clearly visible and have these people able to examine each other. According to a series of behavior exhibited by Reunion so far, we can very clearly realize that Reunion's other leaders do not particularly recognize Tallulah's conduct at all. Even Patriot, seeing through to her scheme, had no power to reverse the tide in the middle of its change. If he could have killed Tallulah, all the same, he still would have been unable to alter Reunion tending towards collapse. To say nothing of the plot to exploit the infected that Tallulah has drawn up inside her own head. The time she would need likely far exceeds the time Reunion has existed so far. I conjecture that all of Reunion's actions up to now have been premised on a plan, namely, Reunion will perish after all this is over. Tallulah will scatter keen, hidden forces across every part of her territory. When she needs them, she'll assemble them and have them make their appearance at the right moment. Doctor, I believe the Empire of Ursus's Third Army would not permit any infected to act freely whatsoever. However, Reunion's current conduct is all within the bounds of their tolerance. Superficial violence, lacking discipline and organization. The Third Army must be happy to see it. Think about it carefully. Would they limit themselves to being onlookers? Thus would they risk truly willingly letting Tallulah control a whole city, even a whole country's state of affairs? Or perhaps even this is one of the weights on Tallulah's scales used to swindle the Ursus military out of their power, having them hibernate somewhere, waiting until the situation is just about to move on from her control. And then, in the truest sense, she'll be able to use the power she could never even touch, just as she wishes.
But that needs time. Now that you say all that, how is she not a tyrant?
Because while current reunion wants that in a leader, it doesn't truly need that in a leader. A tyrant treasures one's own enablers, even if a tyrant more often than not recklessly destroys them for lack of foresight or composure, and weeps truest deepest tears for it. A conspirator does not. The tyrant has chess pieces, and the conspirator does too. But the tyrant is with them on the chessboard, while the conspirator sits outside of it. We can suppose she has humanity, and thus might make mistakes, but if we're talking about a qualified conspirator with a scheme on their tracks, then even if she herself died, her scheme would continue as a matter of course.
Is our operation useless then?
If they were, we'd hardly be taking Rhode Island's operators to hell and back. The only thing natural, unless naturally useless, is killing her, so in every part of and every place we must break down her plot, antagonize her instructions, and lead her scheme to failure. If we cannot halt a landship forward's march, then we will tear it to pieces and make it arrive at its destination no more than an empty carapace. Maybe I shouldn't have put it like that. Don't get me wrong, we still need to stop this Chernobyl core city. Doctor, you've worried about whether or not Amia's group will run into any incidents. I think what's on show before us is the real incident here.
Where W strong? Don't enter. Can you communicate with them? Kal'tsit, speaking in a certain Sarkis tribe's language. Underground full of darkness. Darkness create evil. Evil bring pain. Too much pain. Kal'tsit still continuing to speak in a certain Sarkis tribe's language. Will you share our pain?
No luck. Even if they weren't born in Kazdel, they should still have some kind of reaction to a hint of their native language. Their ability to actively think has been damaged.
Could those words you were saying have any effect on them?
They were meant to in the first place. No, wait, this wasn't a common sense idea. Don't get excited. But if not even this lets me rouse their conscience, they've already lost all capacity for thought beyond simply their ability to express. It means their brain's activity has been sealed off, or that their nervous system has been perturbed by the infected organs. Either way, we don't have enough time left to ascertain their true answer. Just based on what facts we have, it's not looking good.
They don't seem like they'll attack us.
They're preventing us from entering. Deeply infected Sarkis mercenaries in this area number around 6 and seem to spend most of their time set to an unconscious roam. Their range of movement doesn't extend outside this passage. The severely infected collected here only after they picked up on our activity. Moreover, as long as we don't cross some boundary, they don't do anything further. Reconnaissance operator, can you detect our straight line distance to the sarcophagus? Determine position via the waveform I provided. 1.4 kilometers. Precise figure? 1,453 meters. If my calculations aren't wrong, then the breakout of conflict between Reunion and Sarkis special infected happened to be roughly a distance 1.4 kilometers from the city hall too. We initially planned to enter the sarcophagus is holding from the city hall basement shelter passage, but as things are, that exit's likely been occupied by Sarkis special infected of the same kind. I have an unconfirmed conjecture, Doctor.
What kind of conjecture?
We don't know what their goal is, but these Sarkis special infected are likely preventing anyone else from entering the sarcophagus holding, and by coincidence, this district they controlled measures 1.4 kilometers out.
You might be right, but what about their goal then? Shakes head.
At the very least, it's not the same goal the Sarkas originally had. Poor Sarkas, healing from Kazdal. No matter where, they still become tools. I believe there are similarities between the infected and the Sarkas' current situations. The Sarkas here with us could only choose to well with hate, or to lose it all. Things were meant to have changed. We have that power. Those Tikas who lost their homeland have become Sarkas, ruthless as people. And now the Sarkas before us can barely even be called people.
How do you want to do things? Okay, someone is paraphrasing Matthew Mercer here. How do you want to do this?
All operators, inspect your hazmat equipment. What we're facing may be a Class 2 emergency infective state situation. Doctor, in minimalizing wear and tear to the utmost, we must halt the special infected activity to the utmost. We haven't stepped in to resolve an emergency infective state for a while. This outfit looks entirely like Ursus's infected patrol unit.
Infected patrol unit?
There's something I can't deny. The hazmat equipment we've been provided with is emblematic of Ursus's cruel rule over the infected. It shares the same prototypical design. Though our approach is intrinsically distinct from the infected patrol unit, I can only hope we're able to continue preserving that intrinsic difference, that outside forces don't force us to change beyond recognition. The same hope we hold for so many things, just like I told you about some time before. I hope you all hope so too. What? Was Madame Shen here?
Which way was he headed? West, stone's throw from the exclusion zone of Glowing Hoof. He plotted all of this. It was to ensure the area where we signed the pact was secure. Lithanian expanded their contended exclusive zone, overlapping our own. We can infiltrate, kill Cachet, and bring back the miss. No, he's already prepared. In this meeting, the twin empresses directly dispatched the Empress's voice, and they weren't short of armed forces. The Empresses are fresh upon their throne. If Cachet intends to blow our diplomacy apart, all our transgressive conduct may very well be the Empress's excuse to flaunt their power. We can't give Cachet any more opportunity to harm Lungmen or even Yan.
Uncle.
Yushi.
Uncle, it's not Tal's fault.
I'm not blaming her.
Then you should get mad at me.
You haven't done anything wrong.
I told her I was gonna go with her, but then I got scared. I let go of her hand. I didn't go with her. She looked really scared. I was really scared, and she was too. I did something wrong.
She made the mistake, not you.
But you said you wouldn't blame her, Uncle.
No, I won't.
But didn't she do something wrong? If she does something wrong, you're not gonna get mad at her.
She doesn't know the truth. It's not a truth anyone should be privy to, so of course she'd make a mistake. If not now, she would in the future. In so many cases, the wrong thing should be punished. Not only do we make mistakes, we'll make so many of them. If there's a mistake, we will make it. We can't dodge that, nor escape it. Tallulah simply made the mistake she was bound to.
Is that still doing something wrong then?
Yes, of course it is. This world of ours wouldn't forgive something just because it was bound to happen. The world is harsh, the people are harsh, the regimes are harsh. Apart from right and wrong, they don't care a damn. As if it's right and wrong keeping them alive, and not what they breathe and swallow.
I don't get what you're saying, Uncle. Does it mean Tal can still come back?
I don't know, Hyushi. I don't know.
Is it because of me Tal won't come back? Is it my fault? It's my fault, Tal.
Hyushi. Wipe your tears away. Or cry then. I'll give you 5 minutes. After you're done crying, if there's not still tears in your eyes, I'll tell you what you should do. Yep. Crying and such. Wei Wu gazes towards the sky. He considers bending down to confront the tiny girl, but after hesitating, feels as if he isn't suited to the task. You're done crying then?
I want Tal back. What should I do?
I'll teach you a world of things. I'll teach you how to supervise a city, how to fend off villains, how to treat your friends. Do as I say, and Tallulah will have a chance of coming back.
What do I do? Will Tal be able to come back, really? Are you tricking me, Uncle? Mama said you only know how to trick people. Can I really believe you?
Perhaps. I've made a massive mistake of my own, and it led to your mother despising me for her whole life. Even on her deathbed, she couldn't have let go. What she told you is understandable. But mistakes can be made right. Hyushi, listen carefully. Proper conduct is worth striving your whole life for. Correcting a mistake is worth putting life itself at stake for. Tallulah's departure was a mistake. Every consequence it brings, I will bear. And you, Hyushi, you better grow up fast.
What'll it be like when I grow up?
When you grow up, you'll be able to change everything.
Really?
Perhaps. Or let's put it this way. As long as you believe, it will be real. I'll teach you to wield a sword, Hyushi. To wield, she shall. Unsheathing strike. Eradicate without delay. And there we go. I think this will be a good way to introduce this chapter. And we are only obviously scratching the surface of what is gonna go down during this whole freaking section of the past and the present. So many things are going down here. So many things. But yeah, this will be it for today. Also, by the way, just as a side note, because I was looking up on the wiki which way the stages were unlocking just to have the proper way to go through the story, like it was originally intended to go through. I found a little trivia that put this chapter into perspective, and might put it into perspective for a lot of people who weren't aware of the fact. Because, for once, if you already know the story, you know how long this very chapter is. But let me put you put the length into a time perspective. I don't know about on the Chinese side of things, but from when it was written apparently on the wiki page, the two longest stories in this game
are number 1, the Neural Light story. Number 2, this very chapter. Why am I saying this? Because I have something of a time frame how long it took me to read through the entirety of the Neural Light story that was earlier this year. To give you a perspective, I did it over streams over on Twitch, 3 evenings total, and if I take out the time it took for stages and other fluff that I was going through, there is about anywhere between 10.5 and 11.5 hours of narration of story. And that was just the story. That part also had a bunch of bonus materials when it came to the lore of what was happening around that time. So yeah, and this is the second in ranking in story length. So why I'm saying this? I'm saying this because potentially this episode will be split into probably around 5 parts for the first time, because I'll have to. It's just dense. The more we're gonna come towards the end, the denser the story is gonna become, and the more text there's gonna be. So I'll see. Maybe I can squeeze it into 4 parts, but I somehow doubt I will be able to. But we'll see when the time comes. For now, this will be it for today. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you're looking forward to the next part of this journey. But for now, I hope you all have a fantastic day. This has been Jacob, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.